Welcome to Nightlight. Step away from the mainstream and gather around as we enlighten the world and our realities and travel this cosmic journey we call life. Join us as we share with you and provide that beacon that can guide us all to a better way. Explore with us as we examine a metaphysical montage of spiritual insights, covering everything from the mundane to the magical, UFOs to unicorns, and everything in between. This is a time of awakening, of sharing and evolving, of spreading our wings and soaring on the cosmic breath of creation. Come and join with other light-minded spirits as we weave our lights together to seek understanding, enlightenment, and, with a little luck, some wisdom. This is Nightlight, a reminder that you are never alone.
Everybody, welcome to Generally Speaking with your host Jen Young on Nightlight Radio. This is going to be a new show, so I'm very excited that Jen has decided to do a show with us. I've worked with her for probably, over a decade for sure. She has been a guest on Nightlight when we did readings. She is an amazing psychic and medium, and above even those two amazing talents that she has, she is the most phenomenal poet I have heard in a very, very long time. Her poems are magical. And she contacted me a while ago, and we had talked about her doing a show, and then life got in the way, and then we talked about her doing a show, and then life got in the way, and this time life did not get in the way. And she is condescended to doing a show here on Nightlight. I'm very excited because Generally Speaking is going to be a lot of fun, not only for me and Jen, but for you as well. So welcome to your show, Jen Young.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you for the kind words. Thank you for whoever's listening in tonight. This is exciting.
You never know. That's the coolest thing. You sort of talk into the darkness and wonder who's there.
Well, I know it's, and it has been, I don't know, I was trying to figure out today how long we've known each other, and it's been a long time. And,
yes.
You know, it's been a while since I've done any radio shows. And, you know, I think that we're pulled back into what we're meant to be doing. All along, I've done trying to do research for this show about karma tonight, and you know, I reached out to you asking you about karma, and I've reached out to other friends asking them what they felt karma was. Reading, all my reading about karma, and not even understanding why I wanted to know about it, what brought me to the place of trying to understand what karma is right now. Briefly, I want to express sympathy, sorrow, gratefulness that those that have gone to their next journey. Lisa Marie Presley, Randy Bachman's brother, you know, from Bachman Turner Overdrive, Jeff Beck. A bunch of people are leaving us now, and or maybe not really leaving us. And you know, we look at into karma, and our journey on this path is over. And I guess, how do we, and that's God, help me out here, Barb. That's part of what was written before us, one of our past lives or our life journey, right?
Right.
And this is what I'm trying to... go ahead, please.
We come in with a contract, so to speak.
And yes, we've talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a spiritual contract. It's I need to, and it comes from a spirit level, so it has nothing to do with the physical reality until we become a member of it, and then we don't have consciousness of what was in the contract. That would make it so much more easy, but it's not. And so what we do is when we have finished our contract, when we have fulfilled all of the spiritual reasons for being here, there's no sense to our being here any longer. I mean, let's face it, our spirit has a bigger agenda than we do on a personal level.
No, and I agree with that. And, in fact, I was sitting down with, a few friends this week, or it could have been last week for all I know, and we were talking about that, like us being spiritual beings in a human suit, and having contracts and ticking boxes of what we were going to do this time round, what we hope to experience, but none of us really remembering, except maybe deja vu every once in a while is like, oh, I do remember this, and younger children saying, oh, I remember this, I recall this. And because I think children are more open. We aren't closed off. I've got this great book. It's called, I think, Magic by Numbers. Magic Days by Nadine Jane. Can't read my own writing. Anyhow, and she discusses her journey and lays out for us our journey through astrology, numerology, and tarot for each day of the year. And she discusses how she, too, like most of us, left our truer self and joined the mainstream. But when she was younger, she believed in her, in quotations, magic. And she'd get the thrill of when she knew something and discovered something. And then, along comes her peers, her clothes, whatever, and you leave it behind. And then you're asked by spirit to pick it up again. So, reading about Dharma and karma, I don't think we can ever leave it, the magic or the spirit, our calling behind, because it follows with us. Where we have free will. Go.
I think one of the things that's really important for everybody to realize is that we do hop lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. We do. But the karma will follow us throughout time. Sometimes it can be as much as 1,000 years before karma is finally resolved with a person or a situation. So that it's not like every lifetime you have this sack of karma on your back that you have to work with. Some things take time. Some things take spiritual evolution to be able to deal with the karma that is coming your way. Sometimes it just isn't appropriate yet, and so you wait 12, 24, 10,000 lifetimes before you are able to take a look at the situation and understand the lesson that is there for you, and then apply it to whatever's going on in your life at that moment in time. So it's not just, well, I was nasty to you last lifetime. Now it's the other way around this lifetime. It's not that easy. It's far more complicated, and it's more spiritually oriented than it is physically oriented.
No, I agree with that. you've written, I've read a lot what you've written, is that nothing in this world happens accidentally or coincidentally. There is a reason behind everything, though it may not be clear to us at that time, and that's just what you're saying right now. And, you know, I've got different friends that are doing the cancer journey right now, different friends that have lost a loved one through suicide, you know, parents losing children. And, and you know, some of them said, gee, I must have really bad karma. And I don't think it's bad karma at all. I don't think that karma comes into an instant like that. And I think that's what this is what started my exploration of karma and what karma is that, you know, being sick or being sick for a short period of time, having that journey isn't really karmatic, or perhaps it is. I don't know. And I think that's what I really wanted to explore. This is what I'm delving into. Do you understand what I'm asking or saying?
Yeah, not everything is karma. And I think that's, you know, you have no way of knowing, nor do I, if something is karma or not. Karma, for the most part, in my opinion, applies to difficult situations, like being born without a leg, or losing an arm sometime, or being constantly ill. I mean, having a stomach virus is not karma. It's probably not having enough vitamins, or eating appropriately, or dressing appropriately. Karma is more of a spiritual balancing of an aspect of your spirit's development, so that you know, having difficulty relating to a situation or a person doesn't necessarily make it karmic, but you never know, so it's better to treat it like karma, just in case.
Yes, because kindness begets kindness.
Absolutely.
Compassion, the same thing, right? And if we go around with a chip on our shoulder, what we're going to get back generally is a chip on our shoulder, or sarcastic responses. People will find it, individuals will find it difficult to respond in a kind and generous way. I think we've all got friends that are, you know, you love to be around because they're humorous, they're kind, they find laughter in any situation. And you just think, holy smokes, how can you be laughing at a time like this? But there is often humor to be found in something, you know.
Oh, absolutely. And laughter is probably the best medicine you could ever have. I mean, to be able to find joy in yourself and laugh yourself through a situation or a moment is the most healing thing that could ever happen.
Yes, that's what I believe too. I don't know how to expand on that, but I believe that. I believe that fully. I look at when I was sitting by my dad's bed when he was dying, and we laughed about things. You know, we said our goodbyes, we said our thank yous, whatever else had to be said, but there was the laughter at the distinct insanity of some things, and it was like, yeah, okay, we can do this. You know, it was good. You know, speaking of my dad, he used to say you could like someone on sight, but you could dislike someone on sight too, or just dislike someone for no apparent reason. What do you feel about that? disliking someone, like Dad would say, I do not like you, Dr. Fowl. The reason why I cannot tell, but this I know and know full well, I do not like you, Dr. Fowl. And he used to recite that.
I think that there are people whose energy does not synchronize with yours, and you immediately are sort of repulsed or bounce off them, and not this lifetime, thanks a lot, goodbye. Sometimes it is because there is something from a past life that you need to work out, but you don't need to work out all of it in one lifetime. I've had people that I didn't like, and that I really backed off from, but that doesn't mean that there's a karmic situation. But like I said, always treat it as a karmic situation, because you never know. And but as far as not liking your doctor, that's a pretty serious thing. So but it could just be that because he was the doctor and it was an uncomfortable situation, he didn't like him too. So that part of it is there as well.
Yeah. No, it's just that we can, I guess, meet somebody and the reservations are there right from the beginning, and you can, or I can say, oh, not sure about this individual, not sure at all. Don't know them from Adam. And I really don't know why. And I've done it a few times and think, okay, they're a great person. Like I totally read them wrong. And then later on down the road, it's like, no, you were right with your first instincts. They've got great qualities, and but there's the big but. And is that something that we know from? Is that karmatic? Is that it doesn't necessarily make it karmatic. We do reincarnate in soul groups, so it may be somebody that you have. Most of the people around you that are around you for any length of time have been around you in past lifetimes as too, so that there's that familiarity there too. So it just could be that we were close last lifetime, or that we weren't close last lifetime, and we don't need to do it this lifetime either. So it could be that as well. I have found that I think almost everybody on a spiritual level that I have had any lengthy communication with or whatever, I'm sure I have been with in a past lifetime as well. Because if you're dealing with spiritual energy, then naturally people who are in that same flow are going to be attracted one to the other. So that there is that trust, that spiritual trust that is there. It doesn't mean it's karmic. It just means it's familiar and you feel safe. Yes.
I think.
Okay. No, I understand that. No, I'm just writing that down because that makes way more sense to me than the stuff I've read and trying to piece it all together like a puzzle, right? I know that, and I don't know how I know. I just know that when we go and when we look at our life, when we do our life review, we're going to see a beautiful tapestry that we can't see right now. But when we turn the tapestry over, we're going to see the knots and the frayed ends and the restarts and the whole mishmash of our life. And that's what we want, because that means we've had, in my opinion, a really good journey. That we've taken some false starts. We've had a good life lesson here and there and everywhere. And we've made a beautiful, beautiful picture of our life. hopefully we look at it like that,
yes.
and see how outstanding it is. Hopefully we can. I look at, different individuals right now, and I look at the path that they may have chosen, and I'm thinking, I can't comprehend it, Barbara. I can't comprehend why there's serial killers, why there's pedophiles, why there's whatever in our world.
Well,
I don't know why they're...
Stop to think. What is the earth planed for?
Say that again, please.
What is the earth plane, the earth experience, what is it for?
Mm-hmm.
It's for experience.
Right.
And you can't recognize, understand, comprehend things unless you have experienced them. So we are absolutely horrified by murder and slaughter and serial killers and pedophiles and all of that. We're just sickened by it. But we probably have been it at some point in our lives. None of us, even those of us who like to think of ourselves as very spiritually oriented, that at some point in time, over the millennia, over the millions of evolutions that we've been through, we have done all and more of that, so that we have a balance in our spirit, our self, and we understand what is not good and what is good. So you have to understand that, it's awful. Serial killers should be put to jail. I don't think they should be put to death because that gives them a free pass to the next life. So in my opinion, they should live in jail for the rest of their lives. That's just me. But
no, interesting concept.
What, you kill him, he goes on to his next life. He has an easy out. The rest of us have to go through 70, 80, 90, 100 years, and then we get to go into the next life. We just kick these, and no, that's not a good idea to kill people. It's just not. But the reason that we're here is to learn, and the sorrow that they cause is a lesson the people who experience need to experience. It's I wouldn't say this to anybody at their daughter's funeral or anything like that, but if you look at it spiritually speaking, a great way to get lynched. But if you look at it spiritually, look what they're learning. And when you see so many of these people that have lost children, especially, small children, those parents have gone on to create organizations that benefit thousands.
True. And you look at Adam Walsh and whoever else, right?
Yeah. So the situation, not that it can be good or nobody could look at it and say, oh, this is a good thing, but how those who are surrounding it and experience it, how they behave, can create great good that can help millions of other people too. So, it's terrible, it's horrifying, all of that, but you can't recognize that if you haven't been it. Just can't.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, who was I talking? I forget who I was talking to. I was saying, you have to understand, if I asked you to describe Flugel ice cream, you wouldn't be able to, because you've never heard of it, you don't know if there is such kind, and you've never tasted it. Once you've tasted it, you can describe it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way with all of this stuff. I mean, we've rotated through thousands, millions, probably, of lifetimes, and we've been through wars. We've killed, we've slaughtered, we've raped, we've pillaged, we've stolen, we've done all sorts of awful things. Happily, we're not doing them this lifetime, but
yeah,
it's there. So
no, it's definitely that there's individuals that are experiencing those things this lifetime round. It's a very it's a sobering concept, right?
Yeah.
Because I look at different individuals that definitely are experiencing the horrific factors that are going on. And for me, I can't comprehend a lot of it. I just can't, especially with the pedophilia and whatever else. To me, it's just so abhorrent.
Well, look at people who have irrational fears of things.
Yes.
Okay, so where do they come from? They come from a trauma in a past life.
Well, hang on, please. Choking a bit here. I know I don't like knives. Never have. Don't like big knives.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like anything really around my neck. So I really, I know in a past life I was hung.
Oh yeah.
I just
you were a witch.
It's a great
sure.
knowing, right? I know
yeah.
I was a witch. I've got a couple of close friends right now that we're probably sister witches or something, and that's okay. We can, as long as we're not vampires, that's okay. I just and that's a deep knowing of what I was and what we carry with us throughout the lifetimes, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
We keep our spiritualness or our spiritual talents, gifts going, where those gifts are passed down. I know that my granddaughters have them. I know that my daughter has them. I know that my sons have them, even though they don't want to admit it. It's, to me, my cousins have them, for heaven's sakes. It's in our family. And I believe families, as you say, have them. Whether and what we want to do with them is our own free will.
Right.
It keeps calling back, though. I keep getting pulled into it. Like you said, I had my hiatus. My words, my hiatus. And we've tossed about. When are you going to do this? And
I think one of the coolest things about you, before you moved, you were in a beautiful place, and you used to go hiking a lot.
Yes.
And you fell any number of times. And
true.
It was usually when you went off the path. And what I find fascinating is you never really grasped the fact that the universe was saying, are you paying attention? You're off the path. Get back on the path. So you moved.
That's very true. It's very true. I was talking to a good friend today, and there's a picture. I can't believe this woman. She is just one of the most remarkable human beings I have ever met, and the perpetual smile, bright shining eyes, and the intelligence is beyond compare, really. And there's a picture of her falling, shoulder deep in snow, and she's got a camera around her neck, and she's got a cigarette in her mouth, and she stands up without using her hands, and she's fine, and she's laughing. And I look at this and I think, oh my God, who does that? And I don't know if you've ever watched Trailer Park Boys, and Ron picked it up. He said, you like Julian from the Trailer Park Boys.
Oh
you
God.
can fall and stumble, and the glass never spills. And, there's just this perpetual smile on her face. And that picture of her is going to stay in my mind forever, of what maybe perseverance, but what perpetual happiness is, joy, just joy is. And to me, it's just, I don't know, the epitome of happiness. When you see that, is like, yeah, nothing's going to keep me down. And I said to her, like, before, I've never had real neighbors before. And you know that from where I lived before. And
right.
Having neighbors, Ron cut a hole in the fence, and the neighbors were kind enough to say, put up a gate, and Ron did that so we can nip back and forth, but there's still like a bit of a distance. We don't see houses or anything, but there's still a path being made. And there are early risers too. And I'm not an early riser by any means anymore. 7 o'clock is sleeping in for me. But, Brenda is a fantastic photographer, a Renaissance woman, and there's some lovely, lovely paths that she can show me, and I'm just dying to get on to them, And I did go for a walk with her and her sister-in-law, and I said to them, you just watch out. Like, I'm not an easy walker. I stumble. And I'm not always looking where I'm going. And their reply was, that's okay, we're that way too. So I knew I'd met part of my own tribe. And so that was fun. That was a great thing about moving from the mountain to this new little mountain. Not as big as the other one by any means, but a very nice spot,
Well, and not as big a fall either.
No, not no, not as big as fall at all. Took me a while to get going, but that's okay. I'll take it. And
well, I really believe that that the days we're coming into now, the time that we're coming into, is a time of awakening for a lot of people, and it's almost like there's a need for first people to be awakened to their own spiritual journey and what's going on inside of them, and then how can they share it with humanity at the same time, staying on their pathway but sharing it. And I mean, you're a great example of this. I mean, I've been doing this radio show for 14 years, and gosh, I think you were there right at almost the very beginning. And we played back and forth. You were a guest on the show a lot when I was doing readings on it, and then you drifted off, and then we started talking, and it's kind of like I'm seeing a lot of people coming back. Solaris Blue Raven was somebody that I admired like crazy, and it has taken me 14 years, but she's now a part of Nightlight Radio. So it's fascinating to me, the gathering that is taking place here, and it's an information center. It's there's nothing horrendously big. It's my God, I'm not famous and I'm not well known, and what was the other line? And my name will never be in the Reader's Digest crossword puzzle. But for some reason, there seems to be a gathering here around Nightlight, and Nightlight was originally created to be a light in the darkness for people going through change. So it works.
It does work, and there's a lot of different individuals, not the same one, I hope, that you said that, they're awakening and they're starting their own spiritual journey. And I'd like to do what you did for me, Barb, is like invite them on the show and say, what are you doing right now? What are your goals? What are your intentions? And let them get their word out, because I think that's really important. To me, it was so valuable, and still is valuable to me, to be able to say our truth and have a spot to speak up, speak out, and say, this is what we're feeling, without a fear of what's the word I'm looking for? Fear of reprisal, maybe, or being mocked. And if someone wants to mock, well, that's on them, not on us. I know the other day I was feeling kind of, I was feeling upset about a few things, and they're personal, and that's okay. And I was saying that to a individual, and they said, well, you don't need to take it personally because that's kind of narcissistic. And I said, oh, well, that's an interesting view on that. And they said, well, it is. And I started laughing. And I said, how so? Well, if you take everything personally, then everything's about you and it becomes you. And I sort of sat back and I thought, that's really interesting, right?
Very. Yeah.
That's very interesting, and it's true. So if we look at it in the big picture and we just take it for what it's given from someone else and say, okay, those are your thoughts, those are your ideas, it's how I'm going to respond to it.
Right.
Karma is I am, right?
Well, and another way, too, is if you take it personally, it's your ego that's in there, not your spirit.
That's right.
And, if I get my feelings hurt, it's like, all right, so my ego got bruised, but that's not me. So,
No, and that's true. And that was a real, that was an eye-opener. I'd never looked at life from both sides now. Thanks, Joni. I'd never looked at someone's beef, their truth like that. And I thought, well, that might be your truth, but it's not my truth. And but what they said had hurt. And
but when somebody attacks you or says something unkind to you, I have found and I'm older than you, so I can say this, I have found over my many years that when somebody is attacking you in any way, shape, or form, it's because they're afraid of you. And
now that's interesting too, because I don't think I'm someone to be afraid of.
Well, are you kidding me? When you get angry, I can remember when you were in the other house how you got angry at a lot of stuff, and you were ready to march on Washington. I mean, you don't let anybody be this soft-spoken woman can really get angry.
Well, it's true. I do get angry. I do. but I don't. Well, I do. I sound like Mamma Mia, ABBA.
Yeah.
And it's true, but I think we all can when we're pushed to a point. But I don't know how.
But at a situation, not a person.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
It's more situationally. Well, if it's a situation, you're relating to it because you've seen it, you've experienced, you've seen both sides of it, and you know what's wrong. And
that's true.
If it's a person, then it's step back and pay attention. You know, what is it about that person that makes you want to attack them? And you know, if you do an analyzation of the whole thing, eventually you think, well, that's stupid. Why am I upset about this? I mean, it's you know, can I do something to change it? Do I want to change it? And you work from there. I mean, there are some people that I really, you know, don't want to be saintly towards at all. Nor will I be, and I'll have to spend a couple of lifetimes making it up someplace probably, but I'll never remember why, so that's okay.
Yeah, that's the hard thing, is remembering why.
Yeah.
Remembering why. Yeah. But does it make any difference? No, not right now. Not right now at all.
No, that's true. But a lot of it's karma. Karma plays out in our lives all over the place. And I think it's important to understand, especially when you come to times where there are major decisions and choices to be made that affect not only your life but the lives of the people around you. That's where I see the karmic stuff happening. I mean, if something major happened to my family members or something like that, I would spend time trying to find out, karmically speaking, where does this fit in? And you know, so if you wanted to really dig into, is this karma or is this not, how would you approach the situation to figure it out?
That's what I'm delving into. How do you figure that out? How is it my karma? Is it their karma? But they have to be intertwined.
Yep.
Entwined because we're in it together, right?
Right. Well,
and
one way would be doing past life regression to see where it all fits in. That might give you some sort of hint as to where this started. And there are lots of people. Joanne DiMaggio comes to mind immediately. She's an amazing past life person, and she uses as well dream analysis. Dream analysis I loved for a long time until somebody cued me in on the fact that in a dream you represent every person in the dream.
Oh,
so
that's interesting.
Yeah. Suddenly didn't make interpreting my dreams that great, because if I was in conflict or if somebody was being mean to me, it was like, what does that mean? What part of me is fighting the rest of me? And, you know.
No, because someone just had a really cool dream. And it was very, very prophetic. But I was going to try and find a really good dream interpreter for her. But
that's, see, we're supposed to do it ourselves.
Oh, I know.
And if she writes it down and then realizes that she is every person in the dream is an aspect of her, then she should be able to figure it out.
That's true. No, that's true. And this makes more sense as I'm speaking to you about it. Yes, yes, yes. Every person is an aspect of her.
So so the dream is meant to be helping her work out aspects of herself. Yeah. What do you need to work on?
Yes, no, because I've had like numerous dreams, and they've had different family members in it. There's, my brother, and this I find interesting, like just baffling, but not so much so because of what I do and the work we do. He was, as you know, he was diagnosed with leukemia a couple of years ago, and he's responding well to treatment. But I'd seen him in a vision, and we were walking, and he said, "Before you go, I've got to show you my Aztec chest." And I said, "I've really got to go now," and I left him standing in this hall. And I thought, I wonder when he'd been to Mexico. I hadn't talked to him for a while. So I was talking to him on the phone, and because he was in isolation, no one could see him. And he said, "I've never been there." He said, "But they put a port in last night, a Hickman port for chemotherapy and whatever else." And he said, "You should see the bruising." And he took a picture of his actual shoulder and chest, and there was, it looked like a big tattoo, and it was very symbolic. And I said to him, "Oh my God, I can't believe that. This is your Aztec chest." And I've shown a couple of people his chest, and we were laughing, and I said to him, "This is what you were talking about." I said, "To me, an Aztec chest meant a trunk."
Yeah.
I was looking for a trunk, a keep-all, a duffel bag, a big wooden trunk. He goes, No. He says, I never even thought of that. But it's funny because, synonyms, right?
But what if that was an aspect of you? What if it wasn't him? What if it was you?
Oh, but it was him. It was me talking to him and him showing me.
I got
clear
that.
As day.
I got that. But also, it was parts of you showing you something.
Yes, it was.
So it may not have had anything to do with him, but it was something about you in relation to him. It in other words, yes, it was a prophetic message. Yes, it definitely showed you his Aztec chest. But at the same time, if it was supposed to represent a part of you, and the word Aztec comes out here over and over and over again. So is there something to do with the Aztec culture that may have import to you? I mean, it's easy to take it to that first level, and I'm not
take it further than that.
Yeah, I'm not discounting that first level at all, but he wanted. There was a part of you that wanted to show you something, and you walked away from it. So what is hidden from you that may have something to do with the Aztec culture that will touch you on a spiritual level that you walked away from?
That's interesting. That is so interesting that you say that, because there's been numerous times I've just said, "No, not right now, walk away." It's like I don't want to look deeper. How often do each of us do that? Don't want to look any further than this, than the top layer, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, and the easy, the easy explanation, the easy whatever. This is what it means.
Yes.
Okay, let's get on. No.
Yeah.
You're not given the dream for just that. That may be part of it for sure, but it goes deeper, and the fact that you walked away and didn't take the time to look at what he was trying to show you.
Let's look into this deeper, yeah. Very, very interesting. A lot to ponder, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Wow. So this is I'm writing that down. As you know, I write everything, or most things, not everything. Look deeper into levels.
Yeah, and to understand, even if you kept a dream journal, and even if you came to that aha moment, then, oh gosh, a year from now, look back on it because you were in a hallway, right? You were you were in a part of a home that leads to other rooms, but you chose to walk away. Where did you go?
I went outside to a riverbank and stood on the river.
Okay.
And left him there. I know exactly. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying I know exactly where I was.
So
that is really deep.
Yeah, it was a high or low tide. I mean, I know rivers don't have high and low tide, but, was the water running swiftly? Was it running smoothly? Were there rocks in it? What were the shores like? If there were rocks all over the place, what does that say to you? If there weren't, what does that say to you? If the current was, if it was meandering, what does that say to you? If there was white water, what does that say to you? Was it night? Was it day? Were there birds singing? Were there little creatures there? I mean, keep going, because the greater the depth, the greater the lesson, the greater the information you'll get.
God. Yes. Yeah, no, I it's one dream I have not forgotten. And it's as clear right now as it was then. So clear. So clear.
Well, there's just so much hidden. Dreams never give you absolutes. They give you hints. And you're supposed to be able to follow those hints to get messages for yourself. And sometimes it has to do with, just how deeply are you prepared to go to actually understand what's going on. So
yeah,
and maybe we should really take a whole show and talk about dreams.
I was just going to say that our next show should be about dreams. We've got one coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm losing my voice now. I haven't really. I've pondered a couple of topics, but dreams is a really good one because a friend had a really interesting dream, and other friends have had loved ones pass, and they haven't, and we've talked about this before, have not had dreams about their loved ones, and they want to know what that means. And so that's a really good topic to delve into, right?
Well, I'm certain for sure that your group that is supporting you there can have lots and lots of ideas.
I'm sure. Today was a busy runaround day for me, and tomorrow I don't know what kind of rain we're getting, so I think the West Coast normally is getting a lot more rain than we anticipated. So, I don't know. And then we've got the weekend. So, but I think our hour is nearly up, and I want to thank you so very much, Barb, for carrying me and helping me along with this. I appreciate it so much. And
well, it's a pleasure. And if your if your followers want to follow you, they can check out the calendar on barbaradelong.com because your shows are right there, and they'll know when they are, and they'll be able to link to them right from the website, or go to Blog Talk Radio and look for them there.
Right,
that,
on Barbara DeLong on Nightlight Radio. Yes.
Well, yeah, but
and they can look at all your past shows too.
Oh, that too, sure. But if they're looking for when you're going to be on next, the calendar on BarbaraDeLong.com has your shows listed, so they can subscribe to following your shows or whatever they want to do. So, have them do that, because you may choose to do more in one particular month or skip weeks here or there, and the calendar is always there and hopefully up to date.
I think your calendar is very good, and they can follow you on Facebook too. You've got a great fan page. You are there, and I encourage everybody to follow you. So thank you very much, Barbara. Thank you to all the listeners. I'm really humbled by this. Thank you for your kind words. Very
always.
kind.
Always. Okay,
and we'll say good night.
Absolutely. Good night, Jen. Good night, everyone.